My rifle guards revealed their presence, so I'm trying to build as many base defences and get what units I can in defence, whilst these guys move forward and attack. So we've both got a base attack in progress, and I saw that I was having trouble.
Battle control initialized.
Hello there, comrades and cannon fodder. It's Dvoid here. I've got a 1v1 multiplayer game. This one I'm not playing in though. We've got one player using Russia and one player using Germany. The player using Germany is in the top right in this, it looks like a dark brown colour. And the player using Russia is using this yellow colour and they're in the bottom left. We've got a rifleman heading straight for the oil derricks for the player using Russia, but we've got an engineer for the player using Germany. Now, if you send your engineer, obviously it's unprotected, but if this guy, say they carried on like that, he could detonate those barrels at that point, and then you could possibly kill the engineer if you went straight for it. That's a bit of a... So basically there's a slight risk if you send him ahead on this map. They are fairly close to the centre. And obviously that's only a rough guess at the timing there. But the player using Germany, it's Fazzar. They've captured their first oil derrick. And I've posted a few games featuring that player. This is someone else. Yeah, I know both players. But they've delayed on their engineer, the player using Russia. And we've got Fazzar's moving forward. This is risky because although it's not in this case because they haven't captured the oil derrick, but normally it would be. So it's always worth checking in case your opponent does go take an odd, you choose an odd strategy for the early game or any point in the game. So it'd be worth checking the oil derrick from, say, sending a rifleman round the back or something. Especially if you don't see any presence anywhere else. I would wonder what they're up to. And their build order, they appear to have sold a structure there. I'll get that production tab on. And they're both players are building the war factory. But Fazzar has got a standard build order by the looks of it. Looks like Upps went for 3 refineries, is my guess. Although I'm assuming if you check on the video earlier on, you'll see which structure was there. And with the standard build order, Fazzar's got the Ranger out. And it looks like they're putting their engineer in it, yes. Now, there's no war factory yet for Upps. If that's who it is, that's what name I believe I saw. The player using Russia, there's no war factory yet. It's about to be placed. So they have got the 3 ore trucks, which is, well, obviously it was a refinery. So they did get some advantage from that delay. And as it stands, Fazzar hasn't really made use of having the vehicle. But they have held on to the oil derrick and they've got a better build order for their trouble, Fazzar. So, and now this player using Russia has moved their home base MCV. This is a very different build order. They're probably doing it because they're thinking they're not up against a powerhouse player. Perhaps that's why they're using this build order, because this is a serious disadvantage. What vehicles are they building? An APC. Right, so now they've got 3 ore trucks, and with the standard build order, there's 5 there. So yeah, they're just trying something new. Or trying something different. I've seen similar build orders used recently where the player moves out the home base MCV, but I've yet to see it worth doing. I haven't seen loads of games with it, but yeah, they're attacking the neutral oil derrick. I wouldn't bother. I would capture it myself. And because it wasn't their oil derrick, it's an APC build order, because they haven't got the service depot, which is why they've moved out with the Conyard and they're using APCs. Now, with the standard build order, there are no tanks yet, but it's in progress, very close to having the first tank, so Fazzar is doing right by pulling back behind this view range of the oil derrick, at least getting some advantage from it from one direction. Now their tank is out. They should hopefully have a force with a tank screening and a base defence, and now this force is a lot weaker than it was a moment ago. Even with 3 APCs, they'll die, and this infantry force is nothing without them. Now look, 2 base defences, a medium tank. I would have kept the tank back, but now there's no... yeah, look, they've got no vehicles. And there's a medium tank about to join the front line, so they should stop that attack move, but they have got the view range of the structures. Look, you see, they won't be able to see anything, the player using Russia. And this is their view range, so, you know, Fazzar's. So there you go, that's very bad. It's left them in a very bad situation with a couple of APCs, and there's a couple of medium tanks. And there isn't much difference in their build time. An APC is 21 seconds. It's the same for a medium tank. I believe that's correct. They take 21 seconds, I believe, with the 1 war factory. So, Unknown Artist is in trouble. Nice split from Fazzar. And I'm adding another replay to this game. Basically, I'll take on the winner. And I was watching this battle. Obviously, I'm a spectator, look. Dvoid, I was watching. And here we go. 4 APCs are going to struggle against a medium tank. You can fall back with it, and that tank can damage the APCs if they pursue. And the other force is moving forward, and now they are being revealed, obviously, because Unknown Artists riflemen are revealing the presence of these units, but they are clearing the way for this expansion while they're at it. So it's all, when you're giving orders that have multiple uses, they're clearing scouts, they're advancing to attack, and they're clearing out an expansion at the same time. That's a good order, because all he's done is move units this way, and they've had the view range of the oil derrick. They've got this as backup now. Production, that was a very good order and good choice. It achieved many things easily and simply, and he can fall back to a strong position now. Look at that, you know, it's excellent. These APCs at build orders, I don't agree with them. Now, they've got a service depot and 2 war factories now. APCs are excellent, but I don't believe they're that good unless you have a main battle tank force to screen your army, hold the enemy, and match the enemy's force. Then APCs and their special unique abilities can be made use of once you get the enemy to commit. You don't use them to screen your forces and take on main battle tanks. You do that with your own forces, your own infantry and your own main battle tanks, heavy tanks or mediums. And then once the enemy's committed and all your elements are committed, then APCs, like 5 of them, could come along and crush the enemy, for example. And there you go, they've quit. That was probably right. You know, I would have fought on and changed up that build order. They had they had the service depot and a couple of war factories. I would have tried to fight on, but I think they decided against that build order and that it wasn't any good. There, look at the army value for Unknown Artist was like, that's a lot more than Fazzar was at that point, but you know, then it evened out and Fazzar did better. So well done to him. And there's the earnings graph. Yeah, Fazzar was better towards as the game went on. I mean, it did dip below a little bit, but only briefly. And their army they've got 8 medium tanks and a basic force of infantry. All that was needed against that build order. It's fine. 14,000 army value. Both players lost 2 structures. Unknown Artist killed 72 units. Fazzar killed 55. So he didn't kill as many units, but he would have done as the game went, as if he'd have finished it, basically. You know, if he was gonna, I mean, I don't know for sure. There was an alright force here for a defensive fight. It should have been okay, but like I say, maybe they just lost faith in that build order, which is probably correct. Both players destroyed 14,000 credits worth of their opponent's forces and assets. Both of them, 14,000. Very interesting. No support powers in effect. Too short a game. And there's Fazzar still building away on the basics. Medium tanks, refineries. They held on to their oil derrick, Fazzar did, and they've got 6 harvesters or trucks. And both players earned 46,000 credits as well. Very interesting. Unknown Artist has got 3 grand left. Fazzar's like skint, but you know, they had control. They were expanding. That's not an issue. They had a decent income. Right, Unknown Artist has 26 actions per minute, so probably half asleep by the looks of that. 70 actions per minute for Fazzar, so they're giving orders rapidly. That's excellent. There's your scores, 127 to 146 to the winner. And there's all your stats and graphs and basics. So now this is me. I'm going to add my first game. Was after I viewed this one. I played one of these, the winner. So I'm going to add my replay to this one just to make it a decent length post. So this is a 1v1 multiplayer game on Timian map, and I'm using Russia. My opponent, Fazzar, is using Germany, and they are using this sort of dark brown colour. But when I saw it on the in the lobby, like I thought it was a bit close to my red. You know, it just looked like a dark red to me. So you know, I didn't look too closely. So I changed to my green secondary colour. My opponent actually mentioned that and asked about it, funnily enough. But I'll put on production tab earlier this time. I went for my engineer straight away. And I'm sending a few rifles towards the enemy oil derrick. Now, my opponent went for the engineer straight away, but he's got a different plan. He's going for this oil derrick first. The engineer's going ahead as well. And then they're going for the closest oil derrick second. And after that, he's got orders to move around the edge of the map. So, my 3 riflemen couldn't have made it without him being covered. It's more distant than in the last game. Some maps you can send your rifles straight for the enemy oil derrick. Some maps you can't. And my opponent has sent this rifleman to cover him. But I'm looking at my engineer's timing. That's why I sent this guy this way. And this guy isn't going in straight away. But my opponent's engineer is in the same place, but going in the opposite direction. So I was hoping he was arriving about now, and obviously that's not the case. So my 3 riflemen there were a minor distraction at best, and a complete waste at worst. But my engineer's covered, he's well escorted there. My opponent's moving forward with some infantry. They've left a rifleman there, that's good. Their engineer's back at base. He's not going for this. That's strange. Maybe, surely they're aware of it. Surely. Yes, they are, because they added it to their command queue, their shift queue of orders. They went to capture this one, then this one, and move around to this side of the map. So they are aware of it. They've just either distracted or forgotten. But I'm training rocket troops now, and I've started training 3 in a row. At this point, I used to build, at the 2-minute mark, I'd train 8 rifles, and then a rocket soldier, rifleman, rocket soldier, rifleman, rocket soldier, and then 5 rifles to 1 rocket after that. But now, at the 2-minute mark, I just train 5 rifles and 3 rocket soldiers, just to get them trained quickly. Look, 3 rocket soldiers there on site. I'm not waiting for them. Now there's a 4th one there, trained. So after 5 rifles, I get a rocket soldier. Well, at this point, I've actually interrupted my infantry production to build a grenadier drop. So my APC has come out, and my grenadiers are ready now. So I've got 5 of them. My engineer's here. He's a bit vulnerable there, to be fair. Let's look at the early army values now. I've invested in grenadiers. And at this point, I have to stop my infantry production because I think my cash was starting to... excuse me, yeah, it's starting to run low. Now, it builds up okay once you stop building your infantry, but I've sent my APC with my main group of infantry, which isn't much, but I noticed this. I noticed that because it's killed an infantryman. So I'm moving forward cautiously here while leaving a rifleman there and there to watch out. But I was aware that this attacked, and it's a distraction. My opponent... Oh, they haven't got an engineer in it. But he's moved away. That was a distraction, so that's why these guys have paused. But after that, I thought, right, I'm advancing with these, but this APC is going to screen these guys as they advance, but then break off separately. And these guys are going to be a distraction that hits his Autrux. So it's a risk, but hopefully we've both got 7,000 army value. There's only less than 50 between us at that point. Right, yeah, there you go. There's my distraction. And now there's my APC. His main army's moving away. And if he does turn back, it's to deal with these. There you go. His base defence has been placed to deal with them. So I knew they can't be placed to deal with my grenadiers. Now there's his first power plant being hit. I saw his engineer. And now there's these guys here. Now I saw them get killed very quickly. But I've got my 5 grenadiers. And there you go. I had to sacrifice the APC just for a moment to deal with that. Now it's gone. That's a few power plants. And the APC managed to get away. So far, anyway. And let's just check the enemy power situation is 0. They've taken a heavy loss in power and the APC is defending itself. Let's see what happens to it, because that appears like my attention is now here. I'm expanding with my second MCV. My first heavy tank's been built and I'm moving out what infantry I've got now. My opponent's built 1 power plant. He's going to struggle badly. Now he's only building power plants now. They want to be building refineries, but they can't. And I'm at 8,800. My opponent's at 7,900. And there you go. I've moved forward. I'm at least protecting my oil derrick and my expansion. Got infantry here and here, but my APC has still been left idle. So if I give a command, say select all units, for example, that will be moved this way and it'll just die to enemy base defences. So that's why I don't recommend that command, because it also moves my rifle scouts out of position. Here you go, I've lost my oil derrick very quickly. My opponent's recovered from low power, very nice, and they've got their first expansion set up. Let's see what point I'm at with my progress. I'm building barracks, so I have 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them now. And I'm building my next refinery. My opponent is moving forward, and we're both going to these forward ore patches exactly at the same point, same time. So my opponent is doing very well to keep up with that damage I've just inflicted upon them. And let's look at our army values. 17,000 army value to me, 15,000 to my opponent. They've done extremely well to keep up, because that damage was bad. It was a really... it inflicted that low power and interrupted their build order at a point they wanted to be building refineries. But they appear to have recovered in almost every way, except for slightly at different lower army value by 2,000 exactly. Right, now I'm attacking here at the home base, and these have been revealed. I know they're there because I'm moving my tank back, look. My rifle guards revealed their presence, so I'm trying to build as many base defences and get what units I can in defence, whilst these guys move forward and attack. So we've both got a base attack in progress, and I saw that I was having trouble at home base, not at the enemy base. So we're both probably thinking the same thing. So this is desperate. But at this point I'm thinking, actually I've got a chance, and I moved an ore truck in for extra screening, and it's taken the attention of those tanks, look. So I can now build more base defences, more infantry, but I have to keep splitting my attention. My opponent's moving his MCV away, but I have to keep splitting my attention. and I lost the auto up. I've lost a barracks or two. And once they're out of vehicles, I knew that's it. They're done. And here, that's why these are idle now, because, look, not anymore, obviously, but they were for a moment, because my attention could be focused here, and I noticed, that's it, I've got it, one in both locations, my opponent is calling it, and there's the end of that one. So there's a couple of short, brutal games for you, and the APC survived. That's alright. I know it's not great that I didn't get it back home and repaired, and back into battle, but he did his bit, he did well, and he survived. So it's a kill bounty the enemy didn't get, you know, an enemy veteran that they didn't have, extra units of mine they didn't kill, it, you know, you never know, but it's good that he survived after what it did with that excellent Gren drop. So I'm going to go through the graphs and charts. Look at that army graph, almost identical, except my opponent was slightly behind. Now that was because obviously the Gren drop, I believe that is responsible for it, you know, was responsible for that difference, that slight 2,000 credit difference in our army value. The Gren drop was responsible for it, I think. Look at that army graph, almost identical, up, down. But obviously I didn't continue to drop for as far as my opponent. Earnings graph, yeah, that's quite even. Excuse me. Yeah, that's a fairly even one, but mine's more stable than my opponent's, although it does drop off a little bit, but it's more stable than my opponent's. But my opponent had a nice increase, and that's obviously the point they recovered from my Grenadier drop and started expanding. That's a sharp increase. That is very good. They did very well to recover and continue fighting like they did. You know, it's impressive. I've got some heavy tanks, my APC survived, my engineer is here, vulnerable as he is, he's there, and I've got a basic force of infantry. It's a 16,000 army value. I lost 4 structures, my opponent lost 15. I killed 132 units, my opponent killed 95, and I destroyed 35,000 credits worth of my opponent's assets. My opponent got 20,000 credits worth of my assets. No support powers in effect. Production, I am building the radar dome now. It's a short battle, but 8:48, I've got 22 seconds and I'll have a radar dome. So that is doing well at that point. You know, it's a nice early radar dome. And I've got 2 war factories. So it's an excellent quality build order. It's just a shame it will be delayed. If the game continued, the build order would have been delayed because I've lost a couple of barracks here. It's left me with 3, 4, 5, so I would have to build 2 more to replace them. You have to have 7 as early as possible. So if you lose a couple, I might have only lost 1, because I do remember thinking I've got to build another one at the point I was building that refinery. So I may have only lost 1 barracks there, but at this point I need to build 2 more. The extra one and replace the either 1 or 2 that I lost. But yeah, I've got my radar dome under production, I've got 2 war factories, and this is in need of barracks at the front line anyway, and base defences. As it is, I was placing my base defences at my home base. I was hoping to use them to defend my home base from an enemy attack and mean that I needed less assets there. It worked out in the end, but my opponent nearly overran my home base. It nearly ended up with a base trade. In which case, I would be lucky that I've got a war factory and 2 barracks, and then a fresh ore patch look, and this to harvest. So I thought if I did lose my base, I'm well off. You know, that's what I was thinking. And there's the rest of my production. Heavy tanks, infantry and defences. Economy, I've got my oil derrick. I hung on to that one. My opponent blew this oil derrick away pretty quickly with their army early on. I've got 6 ore trucks. I earned 59,000 credits, my opponent earned 51,000 credits. I've got a few grand, my opponent's got nearly a couple of grand. And I was at 28 actions per minute, and my opponent, like their last game, was at 59 actions per minute. Very good. There's the scores, 351 to me, 196 to my opponent, and there's your stats and tabs, graphs, etc. And there's 2 games for you. I hope you enjoyed them. If you like them, give us a sub and a like. And thank you very much for watching. So take good care of yourselves, and until next time, goodbye.
Battle control terminated.